Hey, how's it going, guys? MrBossFTW here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we are going to be doing a breakdown of all the information known so far, the screenshots, and a bit more details regarding the first, official announcement of Grand Theft Auto Online Further Adventures and Finance and Felony, which we all know Rockstar announced just a few short hours ago. We know it's going to be coming out on June 7th, which is 10 or 11 days away, depending on when in the world and where in the world you're watching this. But there's a lot of details in these three screenshots that we can kind of take a look at and that probably give away some really cool details and information. So I did a video kind of just going over a quick overview, a 4-minute video, and some people like the quick nature of getting all the information at once. This video is going to be an in-depth breakdown where we try and look at all the minute details and stuff going on in the images and on the newswire. So without the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. Okay, so let's look at screenshot number 1 here. This is our 4 characters that are inside of what looks to be one of the organizations. Now, I'm assuming very similar to the heist missions that these organizations are going to be done in groups of 4. We've seen other screenshots that included 4 people, so I would imagine that Rockstar would continue the exact same thing and it would be done via 4 people. The next biggest thing you probably noticed on here was the guy sitting at the computer. Now, I think that whoever sits at the computer is the CEO of the corporation, so I would imagine that guy in the white suit is exactly that. He is the CEO and the person in charge. But what's more interesting is what's on his computer screen. So it looks to be a map of lower Los Santos. You can see kind of the last bit of Vespucci Beach there, as well as the inside of the city. And there are a bunch of red dots scattered around everywhere. Now, unfortunately, when Rockstar uploaded this image to the newswire, I think the highest quality was like 640 by 360 or something like that. It's not an HD quality, at least not when you try and blow it up. So it's really difficult to pinpoint exactly where these locations are, and that kind of makes it even more difficult to estimate what the locations are. So I personally think that the computer is showing locations for buyers and sellers for the merchandise. So each one of those red dots might represent a drug deal, or it might represent someone who's selling some narcotics or selling some jewelry. I first thought when I saw that would represent the properties in Los Santos, and those would be the headquarters that you could buy. Although, because some of them are in some kind of odd locations, like the airport, I'm starting to think that may not be the case, and that those may in fact actually be drug deals or buying and selling opportunities. Now, at the top right and lower right of the screen, you can see these 2 red bars, and again, unfortunately, we just can't zoom in enough. We can't make it clear enough. There's no way to magically enhance this image by zooming in. We can't really tell what this means. Now, as far as everything else going on in this screenshot, I've tried to analyze the new players, and I haven't been able to tell if there's been any new clothing or any new items that we can see on them. It doesn't look like it. All the suits that they're wearing and all the jackets look to be already in the game. The only one I'm slightly unfamiliar with is the female, the one who's standing in the back. Since I don't really play on a female character all too often, I really can't tell you exactly if those are new clothing or not, although I do not think it is. Nothing is really standing out in particular. Some other things that caught my eye is obviously the money, whether it's in the briefcase or in the rolls. I'm not sure if this is going to be something that's dynamic, that adds onto your desk as you make more deals. And same can be said about those books and those files, those green and kind of cream files. I don't know if those are going to be building over time, because it would kind of be weird if you just started your organization, you've already got a briefcase and wads of money on your desk without doing any sort of deals. So that'd be super neat if that was a dynamic and added over time, or shrunk over time if you made poor business decisions and poor business deals. And off to the far left, right above the guy's head with the ponytail, there are a few images. I'm not sure if that's on a television screen or if that's a painting, and I'm not sure if that has any significance. Again, the image is also small when you do try to zoom it in, that it does make it kind of difficult to see things like that. So one of them is definitely just looks to be a painting of some wilderness. But as far as the one on the TV screen, I can't tell if that's an interesting photo or not. So I guess we really just are going to have to find out. But this is pretty cool, and it gives us a nice, overview of the way that the headquarters are going to look, which I think is pretty nice. Now let's jump to a quote that I thought was pretty interesting on the newswire. It says, "Acquire a high-rise office and special warehouse properties to begin buying and selling a range of contraband across the city. So one thing obviously that should jump out is that you cannot participate in these finance and felony deals without a high-rise office and a special warehouse. Number two, I think that the high-rise office and warehouses are separate properties, meaning you would have to buy both. It kind of seems as if they wanted you to get the idea that you were going to need a high-rise office and a special warehouse property. That's kind of what they stated in the newswire. But again, I'm not totally sure. I just can't really see a high-rise office being used as a warehouse also. I would imagine something more along the docks or something more along the airport that would more appropriately serve as a warehouse for drugs, contraband, jewelry, whatever the case might be. Now let's stick on the newswire for a bit. This quote really stuck out to me. It came in one of the first few sentences. They stated, "Further adventures in finance and felony continues a player's mission to become the ultimate criminal kingpin in Los Santos and Blaine County in one of Grand Theft Auto Online's biggest and deepest updates yet." So that is incredibly exciting. You know, when Rockstar is hyping their own DLC up, that it will be pretty cool. And those adjectives, biggest and deepest updates yet, not only one, indicates to me that there's going to be a lot of content, but two, that the content that's going to be added is going to be more than just surface deep. And what I mean by surface deep material is something like a lowrider, where you get it, you customize the car, and that's it. It really doesn't change the landscape of Grand Theft Auto Online. I think this update has the potential to change the landscape of Grand Theft Auto Online, and obviously there's going to be a bunch of new content added according to Rockstar, a lot of it that hopefully should be pretty epic. Okay, so let's move on to photo number 2. This one you guys are probably very much interested in, and this is the new Pegassi Reaper. So I briefly touched on it in the very first video I did today, but I wanted to do a little bit more research before I stated like, oh, this is a super cool car. I mean, it obviously looks amazing, but I do have a lot of questions about this vehicle. Probably the first one is, what sort of make and model is this car based off in real life? So at first I thought this was based off the Lycan Hypersport. I thought that it looked really similar in the back to the Lycan Hypersport, but then I realized it didn't totally match in the front, and also it's a Pegassi brand, and Pegassi brand in Grand Theft Auto is the equivalent of Lamborghini in real life. Now, each car in Grand Theft Auto doesn't have to be an exact replica of the one in real life, so I think it's a fusion between the Lycan Hypersport and also the Lamborghini Huracan. So you can see, I'll put both of them on the screen. The front definitely looks like the Lamborghini, and the rear of the car certainly looks like the Hypersport. Rockstar might have taken from some other cars in the Lamborghini family like the Aventador. They might have taken some pieces from some other vehicles, but I think the majority of this car is a hybrid of the Hypersport and the Lamborghini Huracan. So ultimately, that is going to be pretty cool. I would have to guess that this is going to be a supercar, even though the Lycan Hypersport in real life is a Hypersport. I wouldn't guess that Rockstar would make a new category of vehicle just for one car. So I would ultimately imagine that it would fit in the supercar class. Now, as far as customization options for this vehicle, the only sort of upgrades that I see so far is a sort of black light or purple neon underglow that they've got going on in the vehicle, and what looks to be some upgraded wheels and tires, although that wheel design isn't certainly new, and I'm not sure if there's been any modifications to the grille, and maybe they added xenon lights. But obviously, as far as upgrades to this car, I certainly don't know the extent. I don't know how many customization features they're going to be, or if on this photo, if there are any to be found. It doesn't look like there's a lot, but it's still a really beautiful car. Now, there's also 2 other vehicles in the background as well that someone pointed out to me. I think these are old vehicles. One of them looks like a Landstalker and a Rancher, or another one looks like a Bobcat and a Landstalker. I can't really tell. Again, Rockstar has not done us a great service by providing these, I guess, lower quality images when you're trying to zoom in, but ultimately, this is really exciting. Now, let's go back to the newswire. Something that Rockstar states is that this DLC, Finance and Felony, is going to have a host of special new vehicles. So not only do they use the word plural, vehicles, but they also use host of special new. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to be vehicles that are going to be, tinted towards the style of DLC. So whether it's going to be supercars that maybe have armor, or more armored vehicles that are introduced in the game, very similar to executives and other criminals. I'm not entirely sure, but they use that really weird word, special new vehicles, and again, I have no clue what that entails, but it is going to be pretty cool to find out what Rockstar is up to, and when this finally does release, what the content they've packed inside. All right, let's move on to the final image right here. In my opinion, this one has the least amount to really gather from, but I think it's still a pretty cool photo. So the description for this photo is associates recover special cargo in buy missions arranged by the CEO. So obviously the first thing that a lot of people are going to point out here is the aircraft. A lot of people are saying this is a new one, but I don't think so. I just think it's a really effed up version of the Shamal that's been in a crash. A lot of people are pointing to those like broken down fins in the back, but I think that just might be a special version of this crashed one. I do not think it's a new jet. We can obviously see our 3 characters right here. The one who's missing is the CEO, I think. I don't know if it's a different group than the one that's shown in the office. But there's also a few other characters here that are pretty interesting. You can not only see Los Santos Police Department kind of in the background, but you can also see FIB. So I wonder if we're going to be fighting against FIB and the police department and a bunch of other people to try and get these goods. I want to say, because this was a buy mission, that this was a plane that was maybe carrying these narcotics or drugs, and it's going to be our job to go in there and recover them. I have absolutely no idea what Rockstar has planned for this screenshot right here. And really the last thing and most notable thing that I caught from the newswire was the last thing they stated, which was look out for more details along with the official trailer coming next week. So I briefly touched on this in my first video, and I stated that every Grand Theft Auto Online DLC that's gotten a trailer is for the most part pretty awesome. Just think about it. The Heist update got a trailer. The first Lowriders DLC got a trailer, which in my opinion was the best Lowriders update. Executives and Other Criminals got a trailer. I think the San Andreas Flight School one got a trailer too, and that was a pretty exciting DLC. So I think that's going to be awesome. More information and a new trailer coming next week. Man, Rockstar really are spoiling us, but the wait was so intense, but now it's finally over. Further Adventures in Finance and Felony is going to be coming out June 7th. I'm hyped. I've got lots of other videos planned answering a lot of your questions, talking about a bunch of stuff we've seen. And if Rockstar does give us more information next week and a trailer, I'll of course be sure to cover all that information here on my channel. But anyways, that's everything that we're going to be looking at today, and all the kind of secretive and hidden details you might have missed from the newswire and the few screenshots that were released this morning or a few hours ago. Let me know what you guys think about this DLC. If you're hyped, be sure to leave a like, and as always, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.